Good evening. We're here with Jared Hood from the Iraq Veterans Against the War. He's the Rocky Mountain Regional Director. Is that correct?
Yes, and the Denver chapter president.
Okay. And we're here at the Uptown Tavern talking about his experience with IVAW at the national conference and here locally in Denver in preparation for the 2008 convention. Jared, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Jared, tell me, why did you get into the IVAW? What is it, and what did you guys hope to accomplish at the national convention?
Well, Wade, Iraq Veterans Against the War is a group of veterans who have served since 9/11, most of whom have served in Afghanistan and Iraq. The organization was started in 2004, shortly after 7 veterans returned from Iraq. Really, the organization's 3 main goals are, number 1, an immediate withdrawal of all occupation forces, including U.S. military and private contractors. The second goal is to provide the benefits, the VA benefits that all veterans deserve when they get home, such as comprehensive GI bills that will take care of that. And the third is to provide reparations to all the Iraqi people for the destruction that caused them and their country. I got involved personally in IVAW a few years back. Really, my job in the Army Reserves when I first enlisted was taken from me. I was doing working the road at Fort Carson. That job was taken from me, and I was by the Department of Defense contractors. And I began training Blackwater Security to do military police operations in Iraq, which really started to kind of embitter me because I knew that they were going to get paid $120,000 over there. And they were laughing about it and joking about it. It was just a big joke to them. And most soldiers that are serving there barely pull in $12 an hour if you break it down. So I thought it was really unfair. And then just some of the experiences that I had working with a lot of veterans returning. I was at Warped Tour that year, and I saw a punk band on tour with 2 Iraq Veterans Against the War members, Garrett Reppenhagen and Ben Schrader, introducing themselves and talking about their experiences. And really, that's when I researched the organization and joined. And I started the Denver chapter here in March 2007 and became the Mountain Regional Coordinator in April of 2007.
Well, tell me, it's very commendable that you served in the military and that you recognize a situation that was untenable as far as the misuse of the troops. What did you guys do at your national conference this past, was it August?
Yes, it was August 15th.
At the conference, what did you guys talk about? What did you strategize? What was your mission of coming together for a national conference?
Really, the purpose of the national conference, this is the second one that IVAW has actually done autonomous for Veterans for Peace. IVAW was originally started at a Veterans for Peace conference in 2004. This is the second annual Iraq Veterans Against the War conference at a Veterans for Peace conference. So there were kind of 2 conferences going on. One of the main purposes was to strategize not only with VFP, Veterans for Peace, but also as a national organization. We took a full day, a full Saturday, and basically discussed our strategy, 6- to 9-month plan for the organization, and kind of where we want to direct our attention as far as rallying and activism to end this war for those 3 main purposes that I discussed.
And while you were there, you mentioned to me that you guys actually staged an action during the conference. So tell us about what happened with that.
Well, basically what happened is it became known to us when we all rallied there the first day. There were over 100 of us there. It really became clear to us that our main focus, one of our main focuses, should be what we call the Truth in Recruiting campaign, which is based off of what used to be called counter-recruitment, which is basically, we didn't like counter-recruitment because you as the soldiers have already been recruited once. And we're really not trying to recruit people into our organization. So Truth in Recruiting is the best idea, and basically what it is looking at kids, when I say children, kids, I mean the military-aged kids who are looking at joining the military, ages 17, 18, 19 years old, really focusing on talking to them about the truth in recruiting, the fact that the military promises so many things that they're never going to get. And really what happened was, when we first got there, we found out there was a job fair going on across the street. And that job fair was an African American, it was a black expo, a job fair, slash expo. And we kind of scoped it out, a couple of our members scoped it out. We came up with the idea to basically infiltrate it, pass out flyers that were truth in recruiting flyers, like
mentioning what the fallacies of some of the recruiting tactics are.
Basically, like, do you know enough to enlist? That the military promises these benefits, a GI Bill, but only 20% of veterans statistically have actually gotten to use their GI Bill. The fact that they promise health. We also put in there the fact that the military as an institution breeds homophobia, racism, sexism, and what we did was we all rallied, similar that we actually do in military exercises. We stood in a formation, called to attention. We sounded off with, our squad leader sounded off with Iraq Veterans Against the War, what have we learned? And we all responded with war is not a game, because they have, one of the Army's new recruiting techniques is they have a video game setup called America's Army. Really what it does is it's a violent video game where you shoot people. So that was kind of the idea, was to
try to work in the cool factor of going to war and enlisting.
Exactly. So we were able to successfully pretty much shut down those two recruiting tents that they had set up in the expo.
And a lot of times, like in some other documentaries we've seen, they actually set up recruiting in places where there are lack of employment or lack of opportunity. And then those recruiters are trained in how to pull in young people to enlist.
One of the things that we call it, a lot of people say, oh, it's an all-volunteer military now, but that's actually a fallacy. It's actually what we call the poverty draft, where they're actually drafting, they're using these techniques to draft poverty-stricken regions, which is why you see a lot of the military recruitment centers that are in upper-class neighborhoods that are actually shutting down, and they're moving them to lower-class neighborhoods where they know that a lot of kids don't have much of a choice for college education. And they use that to exploit those lower-class or largely minority individuals. So we call it the poverty draft.